Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Logan and Liska podcast series. I'm Logan Toth.
And I'm Matthew Liska.
And today we're going to be going over our picks for the NFL mock draft. We decided to go, I have my own mock draft and Liska has his own. So with that, let's just get started. Number 1 overall pick belongs to the Cardinals, and I have them selecting Kyler Murray. To me, he is a generational player. Guy's amazing. And he does everything so well. Mobile. He's accurate, got everything you want out of a quarterback.
Yeah, I also have Kyler Murray going number 1. He's a very talented athlete. He also plays baseball. He got offers from the Athletics. Their current quarterback is Josh Rosen, but again, I think he might go. They might trade him. It's possible that they trade this pick, but we're not doing any trades in this podcast, so I have them taking Kyler Murray number 1.
I honestly hate the fact that the Cards are probably going to move on from Rosen, considering he was a top 10 pick just last year, and now he's leaving, or likely leaving. I mean, Kyler Murray's great, but I don't know why you'd give up on a top 10 pick after his rookie season. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me.
They're giving away for dirt cheap now.
That's the thing.
There's rumors that the Giants might get him.
Yeah, for like a third-round pick. That's ridiculous. He was a top 10 pick just last year. So with that, let's move on to the 49ers. I have them selecting probably the best player in the draft, Nick Bosa. Guy is explosive. He's got speed. He's got the power moves. He's got the bull rush. Everything you want out of an edge defender. And I take him number 1 overall personally, but with the way we have this playing out, we think he's going to fall, or I think he's going to fall to the 49ers.
Yeah, I think number 2 overall pick is definitely going to be Nick Bosa, defensive end out of Ohio State. They picked up some offensive players like Tevin Coleman, so I think it's just the obvious choice to get a defensive end who's so talented like Nick Bosa.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that definitely could be a generational player, and maybe he can end up being the next Khalil Mack. I mean, guy is fantastic. I mean, the production's there. I think the only problem with him is that there might be like an injury history, and people might question his drive because he sat out this season after a minor injury. So that might be the only problem with him. Let's move on, though, to the New York Jets. I have them selecting defensive tackle Quinnen Williams. He's one of those guys that I really like. One of those guys that just dominates games and has the ability to dominate games. Always very productive at Alabama. Always had his name out there. You always heard him making plays. So, number 3, I have them selecting Quinnen Williams.
See, number 3 overall, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I got the New York Jets taking Josh Allen, defensive end / outside linebacker from Kentucky. They just picked up Le'Veon Bell. I think they really need a linebacker. Their linebacker spot's pretty weak. I think that Josh Allen would be a great addition to their defense. It would help them possibly make it to the playoffs this year, but, I mean, it's not likely.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets are in a good spot, though. I'll say that. Like, they have a lot of good players now. Obviously, adding C.J. Mosley and Le'Veon Bell, those are 2 huge signings, and Josh Allen just adds a lot more to the defensive line. I like that pick from your perspective. Personally, I think Quinnen Williams is better, but Josh Allen, still a solid player. Let's move on to the Oakland Raiders. I have them selecting Josh Allen, edge rusher out of Kentucky. And obviously you have him going to the Jets. So who do you have the Raiders taking in number 4?
Number 4 overall, I got Oakland Raiders selecting Montez Sweat, defensive end out of Mississippi State. They need an edge defender and a quarterback and a running back. I think that in this draft, it would be best for them to get a defensive end. Like Montez Sweat, he's very talented out of Mississippi State. I think it would just be the obvious choice for them.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. But for me personally, there was something that happened to him. He reportedly has a heart condition, which is making him fall down draft boards. And it just came out recently, so not many people know about it, and it might cause him to fall down draft boards a little bit, but he has the talent to go top 5, I'd say. His combine was phenomenal, and I could understand why you'd have him going to the Raiders. Number 5, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have them selecting offensive tackle out of Alabama, Jonah Williams. He's going to be the guy to protect Jameis Winston and let the playmakers make their plays. To me, Jonah Williams is the best offensive lineman in this draft class, without a doubt. And I don't know how you could pass up a talent like him.
That's a good pick, but I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting Quinnen Williams.
Yeah.
I know you had him going earlier. Defensive tackle out of Alabama. Again, they're another team that needs an edge defender. I think he's very talented, and I think he would make a good addition to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. He's a good number 5 pick, and of course if he doesn't go earlier, as you have him selected earlier, but I think he'd be a good addition to the Bucs.
Yeah, I mean, guy's a really good interior defensive lineman. So that's the guy has potential to be so good. And him and Gerald McCoy would make a really good pairing on the defensive line. That would be so much fun to watch, I'd say. And maybe that could turn around the Buccaneers, assuming that he falls down that far. But either way, I think Jonah Williams, Quinnen Williams, both fantastic players. Moving on to the New York Giants, your team. I have them selecting quarterback Dwayne Haskins out of Ohio State. I know that there's reports of the fact that the Giants aren't interested in taking Dwayne Haskins, but personally, I think it's smoke. They really need a quarterback. They need a guy that's going to help them compete moving forward, and Eli's not the guy. Eli's, to me, is below average. I don't think he's that good anymore. Obviously, way out of his prime, but to me, you guys need a quarterback, need a franchise quarterback. Why not take Dwayne Haskins?
Number 6 spot. I hold this spot very near and dear to me because I am a Giants fan. This is a very big draft after losing Odell and most likely Eli's last year. I do not have them selecting a quarterback. I have them drafting wide receiver out of Ole Miss, DK Metcalf. He's very, very talented. He has a lot of people talking about him from the combine. He has great hands. He's not the best route runner, but I think he's very athletic. There's a lot of talk about him. I think the reports where he has 1.6% body fat coming out of the draft. Of course,
ridiculous.
It's not. It doesn't sound humanly possible, but if you've seen him, he doesn't look human. He is a beast.
Yeah.
He's very athletic. I think even though the Giants have picked up Golden Tate, I think he would be a better mentor, him and Sterling Shepard teaching DK Metcalf. I think he would be a good addition for the Giants, and possibly the Giants drafting a quarterback next year when there is a lot more talent in the draft.
I could see that. Speaking of DK Metcalf, though, I have the Jaguars selecting wide receiver DK Metcalf. And to me, I'm not a huge fan of DK. He runs a very limited route tree. He only runs go routes, slant routes, and curl routes, and that's it. Guy barely goes across the middle. Not very talented, in my opinion. I mean, he's got the athleticism, but not a guy that I'm high on, not a guy that I really like. So DK Metcalf to the Jags. Jags are a team that likes to make splash moves, not smart moves, so that's why I have them going with DK Metcalf.
Number 7 overall, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Jonah Williams, offensive tackle from Alabama. Jacksonville definitely needs an offensive tackle. Like a lot of teams, they need a tight end, but there's not a lot of big tight ends in this draft. They picked up Nick Foles recently, so they possibly need a guy to defend Nick Foles in the pocket. So I think Jonah Williams would be a big choice for them. That's just my pick for them.
Yeah, I could see that because if he falls all the way to 7 with DK Metcalf on the board, that's a pick that absolutely makes sense. Moving on to the Detroit Lions, I have them selecting Michigan prospect Rashawn Gary, defensive lineman. He plays a hybrid of edge and defensive interior, so he's got the versatility. And the production wasn't there in college, especially this past season. Only had like 3 sacks or something crazy like that. But still, to me, Rashawn Gary has potential to be great, and he's definitely has one of the highest ceilings in this draft class.
I think he's very good. But number 8, I got the Detroit Lions selecting T.J. Hawkinson from tight end from Iowa. Detroit Lions need a lot of players. They need tight ends. They need wide receivers. They just signed Jesse James, the tight end, but I think they're a team that needs another. they need a lot of players. But I think T.J. Hawkinson's the best choice for them because I think they might need another tight end to help them in the season.
Yeah, I could see that because Jesse James and T.J. Hawkinson would make a really good tight end pairing. Moving on to my team, the Buffalo Bills. I'm going with Jawan Taylor, offensive tackle, and this is a team that really needs a superstar at the offensive tackle position. And with the way we have this draft playing out, or the way I have this draft playing out, I believe that Jawan Taylor will fall all the way to number 9, so the Bills will pick up this guy. Guy's fantastic.
I have the Buffalo Bills at number 9, selecting Ed Oliver, defensive tackle from Houston. Of course, there's a possibility in my eyes that if the Giants don't get DK, the Bills might go after him because they need a defensive tackle. So I think Ed Oliver would fill that slot. They just added 2 offensive linemen, Mitch Morse and Ty Nsekhe. So I don't think they're going to pick up an offensive lineman in this draft. They just got Beasley and Josh Brown. So they're obviously building up their offense. So I think in the draft it would be smart for them to get a defensive player. I think Ed Oliver is a good pick for them. That's why I got the Bills drafting.
I like that pick too. If he's there, I could totally see us taking him. Moving on, my last pick is the Denver Broncos, and I have them selecting linebacker Devin White. He's another one of those guys that had a really good combine, very athletic, and one of the better players, one of the better linebackers in this draft. So I'm a huge fan of him, and I absolutely could see him going to Denver.
Yeah, number 10, Denver Broncos also have them selecting Devin White, linebacker out of LSU. They need linebackers and they need some tight ends, but they just re-signed right tackle Bobby Hart for 3 years, which I don't think he's that good, but since they're obviously not going to go for an offensive lineman, re-signing Bobby Hart, I think they're going to get Devin White. But there's also a possibility if nobody gets Dwayne Haskins, they might go for Haskins because they need a quarterback.
Yeah, I could see that happening. So with that, that's going to do it for our mock draft. Thank you all for listening, and we hope to see you next time.